Dwight D. York, prisoner number 17911-054, used to get a half a mail bag full of mail every weekday in G Unit of the United States Penitentiary in Marion, located in rural southern Illinois, where I was a guard for 23 years. I read some of the letters at random, just for something to do. They were from all over the world. Most of them were asking him how to send money to his commissary account. York is well stocked with ramen noodles and candy in his 5x8 cell. He was transferred to the new Supermax 80X prison in Colorado when the mission of Marion changed to a medium security sex offender program. I'd rather not deal with sex offenders. I missed working around homicidal maniacs. They, for the most part, had a sense of humor. The exception to that is York. He was one of the slimiest scum that has ever been dredged up from the bottom of a sewer. I was not unhappy to see him leave. I just wished he had left in a body bag and not on the bus. York continues to convince desperate and stupid in our society that he is an extraterrestrial being. He claims that he's a prophet of God. I think, according to Dante, that will qualify him for one of the inner circles of hell. I hope Dante was right. When I met York, he was serving 135 years for sexually molesting the children of his followers. As all good followers of a racist cult know, a prophet of God must have sex with children, right? But don't take my word for it. Nikki Lopez testified in 2004 about how she was raped by York when she was a kid for years. She was held down by other women and girls while he raped her. They forced her to perform acts I can't mention in all good conscience here. She suffered torture, beatings, rape, and starvation as a matter of routine for years. She was held as a sex slave. The very thing York claimed was only perpetrated on black people by whites. He exploited black people in the very same ways he claimed their ancestors were exploited by slave owners. He operated a modern slave plantation. When the cops broke into his over 400-acre compound, they found little girl dresses hanging on a hook in his personal hot tub area. The children were taken from the parents and watched over by a bevy of his personal assistants. Oh, I don't mean personal assistants like secretaries. I mean like prostitutes. These prostitutes beat the girls with wire whips and starved them if they didn't obey the whims of the prophet of God, York. The parents gave York a massive amount of money. He used it to build a small Egyptian city like Thebes or something. Every good prophet needs a pyramid or two and a few obelisks around. Cult members believe this array of crap that was so ridiculous, it just boggles the mind of any sane person could be taken in this way. The most offensive things, if you leave out the mass, child sexual exploitation thing, is the perversion of religion. He left no major religious group out. He started out in the 1970s claiming to be a Muslim religious leader. This incarnation, he had said that all the white people are evil. He blamed all the problems of black people in the world on the influence of Christianity and European oppression. This is exactly the same message old Jeff Fort, who took his followers down the road of terrorism to build a drug empire. I guess you could say that both men enslaved the poor and stupid. One used only religion and racial hatred, and the other used religion and drugs to control large groups of people. The thing I find most humorous is that they both claim that black people are enslaved today. To gain freedom from modern-day slavery, they sold themselves into slavery to a single leader. Not unusual, I guess. Half of Europe did the same thing in the 1930s, with the same bullshit that you're a victim. That brings me to a point I noticed about these leaders of the damned. They always have a big streak of racism in their rantings. They try to convince their victims that they are an oppressed people. nothing is their fault. They would rule the world if all those others were gone. All we have to do is kill the group that oppresses us and all will be well. York used the same method of uniforms, symbols, impressive buildings, and pageantry the Nazis did. Just like Hitler, York still has a hardcore following of suckers who deny his crimes. They have a ton of internet pages telling the real truth that only they know about. York is from another planet. Like Jesus, he's been crucified by the evil white government. He had a short career of robbery and theft, and he wasn't very good at it. He got caught, and he went to prison. And while studying how to take advantage of others in the crime school that's our modern prison system, he came up with the winning idea. Don't use drugs, or don't use guns and violence. Use a good story. Tell lots of lies to trick people into doing the violence for you. It's not necessary to kill anybody yourself. Hunting women in the dark streets of a ghetto is dangerous. Get their parents to bring them to you and hold them down for you while they scream in pain while they're being raped into submission. After the Muslim stuff, he decided to exploit Native Americans. Now, he claimed to be Chief Black Thunderbird Eagle. There's a name for you. My name is Chief Black Thunderbird Eagle. The leader of the lost Indian tribe that, he made up. He was the leader of the lost fictitious tribe of never existing Indians, and they fought the Europeans who tried to colonize and exploit all the black African Native Americans, all the black African Native Americans, because everybody knows that Native Americans all come from Africa. I mean, that's what he said, right? In case you had not noticed, the theme of York is, I'm a black man and everything wrong in the world is caused by white people. The same message that Hitler had, except that Hitler said that the other bad people were Jews. Like Hitler, York looked forward to the day when mass exterminations could begin to cleanse the world of the human filth. His words, not mine. His next gig was the leader of the ridiculous-sounding United Nuwaubian Nation of Moors. Nuwaubian. There you go. There's a group of people. How many Nuwaubians have you run into? He hoped to hoodwink people who think Moors are Muslims. People who believe that modern black people were descended from the rulers of ancient Egypt. He also now claimed to be one of the Egyptian gods of ancient times. You ever meet any Egyptian gods? Well, apparently I have. He made up one of those that he claims to be, since there never was one called Dwayne. So he just made up one. Just to snag up any kooks that might have been left behind. He also claimed to have been born on another planet named Rizak. The planet Rizak, everybody's been there, right? Just like the false gods of Egypt did, York convinced people that he could do magic things, like with these cheap tricks like you see in a Vegas bar or something. Difference is, in Vegas, that guy on the stage doesn't claim to be God. I always wondered that since he's the leader of the United Nations of Nuwaubian, how scattered was he claiming that the other colonies of Nuwaubians are? I don't know, but I bet he claimed that since nobody else was calling themselves that on Earth, that he could just claim they were all on Vulcan or scattered throughout the Klingon Empire or being held prisoner by the Romulans or something. Where the hell's Captain Kirk when you need him, Oh yeah, Captain's an evil white guy because, all of them are, right? Hell, William Shatner's even Jewish, so he must be double evil according to York. Anyway, this little tale is just one of the many men I had contact in my 23 years in the Supermax as a federal prison guard. I know I'll be deluged with hordes of idiots claiming that I am racist. Fine. You can check out my other videos that the white supremacists claim that I'm racist and hate them too. The truth is, I take a very dim view of people who exploit others. Being a racist is just another method of exploiting the stupid. Let me be clear here. All right? I don't think there is any secret racists. A real racist is proud to proclaim it. He's surprised that you're not of the same mindset. The only time they hide it is when the cops show up. Then they run and hide like a bunch of cockroaches. The best example I can cite is the Nazi government in 1945. One day, the world domination, kill all the Jews, and the next day is run and hide. If you catch one of these cockroaches, they claim they didn't do it. Or they did it, but others made them do it. Or my favorite is, I didn't even notice it was happening. Yeah, okay. Take a pterodactyl and look at the scratches on the wall made by the fingernails, and you'll get a glimpse of the evil that men like York truly are. Now, if you like this video, subscribe and hit the like button down there. I promise it won't kill you to do it. You want to have an in-depth look at what's happened at USP Marion, both as a Supermax prison and later on in my career as a sex offender unit, then you need to read Dr. Marla Patterson's book, As I Live and Breathe. I'm not getting paid for this endorsement. I just feel so strongly that to understand what really happened at USP Marion, that you need to read her book. Once you do that, your eyes will have been opened. Believe me.